My name is Jason Ashley and I love role-playing games, but I have almost exclusively played them with people who are not your typical tabletop gamers. From this, an idea was born. Welcome to the podcast where disinterested friends and family play role-playing games in order to prove that no one is too cool for tabletop. All right, guys, I will return in just a moment. I really want you guys to dig into y'all's story together and kind of flesh that out.
Okay.
Yeah, should we start with fleshing out our bonds a little bit?
Yeah. Okay. So who did you have a bond with?
So my bond is Philip owes me for guiding him in some sort of city setting. And then my reverse bond, unbond, would be Mad like saved my life and protect. It's almost like the reverse. Like I owe Brunhilde my life. Philip just owes me something lesser. So I have like debt everywhere. So
why do you owe Mad your life? What happened?
So the thing I initially sketched out was that so part of my backstory for those of you watching this stream is that I was in our world, like Earth, like our world, and was gripped into this like cacophony of magic land that we're in right now, and it's that addled my brain and made me think that I'm actually a wizard. So the loose sketch I had with Brunhilde's bond was just that Brunhilde came across me when I was struggling to understand what was happening and didn't know what was going on, and basically sheltered and protected me. But that's all I'd come up with. So I don't know, Matt, do you want to take that a little further?
Yeah, because I guess there had to be something going on for me to have to like protect you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe it's that like you crossed over into some type of like trap.
Okay.
Or something, and so maybe you crossed into like, I'm trying to think.
Or some sort of battle or like.
Yeah, like a battle or a trap or something where like you were like prey for someone, something.
Dragons.
Maybe something, maybe a creature.
Yeah, like I appeared in a forest or something.
Yeah, like you appeared in a forest and there were like a pack of wolves surrounding you.
Yeah.
Maybe it doesn't have to be like you killing somebody to save. Maybe it's just like you were so lost and you just had no idea where you were or what was going on that she was the first person to, take you in or give you shelter or help you, antiquate yourself to the situation.
Yeah, but I do feel like because I'm a fighter.
Yeah, and the muscle.
My backstory that like
So what if I appeared in this world and I immediately went into like sheriff mode and I walked into some settlement and I was trying to flash my authority around, and because that's my anchor to who I am.
Yeah.
And it happened to be some sort of like Assassin's Guild or like sacrificial cult or something like that you had, because you're generally helping people. Your character's a good person. Yeah. So you were sort of hunting them to eliminate their evil from the world right as I stumbled into it.
I like it.
Okay.
I like that.
Okay. And so then you not only physically protected me, but then like gave me shelter basically, like around the campfire.
I was just kind of like let you stick with me.
Yeah.
I'm back.
Oh, hey, welcome back.
Hi.
I listened for a second. That's good. Y'all keep that up. I'm just about. I gotta put this little adventure together, and we're gonna rock and roll.
Oh, okay. So basically, what we just did was we fleshed out why I owe Brunhilde, why Sheriff Pat owes Brunhilde his life.
Okay. So Brunhilde, what is your bond?
My bond is with Sheriff Pat and then with you, right?
I have one with you. Yeah.
Yeah, you stole something of mine.
Yes.
And that's it.
I stole. It was a locket, right? That's what we decided.
Yeah,
on?
you stole a locket.
Okay, so we can say the story behind that one is I was partying with you, and I saw you. Or if this is if you want to, if we're okay with it, but I was partying with you, and we got into a fight. Not me and you fighting each other, but we were in a little skirmish, and you just went completely insane and started just not only killing things and the enemies, but like ripping off their arms, and just like they were dead, but you just kept going and going and going. And then while you were going in the struggles, the locket fell out of your bag, and you saw it. And I noticed that you instantly sort of caught yourself and came back to reality or your normal stance. And I saw you put it back in your bag. So next time we were sleeping, I went in and took it as a oh shit button, if you will.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, but do you feel like you took it out of like if I ever get into a spot with her where I need to calm her down so she doesn't hurt me type of thing, or was it like
mainly I think I could use it that way, but I'm seeing it mainly as so you don't do anything bad to yourself, because I feel like if that wouldn't have happened, you would have just kept going to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. Mm-hmm. So it was more of a, we need to stop her just in case she, gets crazy. I mean, let's be real. I'm Daniel. I think I can take anybody in this world.
I'm Daniel, y'all.
I'm Daniel, damn it. But it's more of I'm confused and I'm lost at your true strength, and I don't know how to turn you off. But I saw that this item was one thing that was an off button for you.
Okay, I'm down.
Cool.
And then lastly, Daniel and our bond, I'm kind of seeing it fleshed out where we were in a bar, and I was trying to convert some patrons in there to the Great Horned One, and they weren't having any of it. So I thought, like, I was, obviously being kind of persistent and an asshole about it. And then it changed on me, and so I was like, all right, I guess we're going to do this. And I transformed into a bear. But the thing about my druid is when he changes, he has, like, patchy hair. Like, he isn't, like, a full-grown, like, it just looks like a weird naked bear with, like, spotty patches of hair. So it didn't terrify anybody. It more just made them laugh and, like, just attack me. And then you just kind of pieced out and handled your own biz while I was stuck fighting a couple other guys.
I really wish your character's name was Weird Patchy Bear now.
Do you think that's a good opportunity exactly for Sheriff Pat to have been there when that happened and stepped in and like calmed you down and got you out of the transformation and then like guided you out of this bar and like helped you through the city?
I think so. My bond with you, I was thinking of, is that I showed Sheriff Pat a secret right of the land as like a thank you for what you've done. Uh-huh. Like I gave you some little piece of knowledge, like, hey, if you see a bunch of fish popping up in the water, it's a good time to fish, or something like that.
Okay.
Something druidy.
Would that's like sort of the resolution of the bond, right? We're not there.
No, but yeah. That is, I'm going to put you in that. That's the one I'm going to kind of work towards with you.
Okay.
Because I feel like I owe you something.
Okay.
So
maybe our bond that you owe me because I saw you like at your worst in terms of like panicking in a urban situation and like guided maybe to tie it all together. Sort of, I remembered Brunhilde not tearing me down and like helping me, and I turned that towards you.
Yeah.
And that sort of helps bring us all of our characters together.
I'm down.
My only question that I have is like I know working on these bonds will give you experience and stuff like that, but I don't really know how I can implement working on mine.
What do you mean?
I feel like mine's more of
I've only been in and out of this discussion, so I don't really know the full details. But go ahead.
I think maybe if you asked her more about what the locket means, like if we have downtime, kind of pushing that, like, so what exactly is what is this kind of thing? Like, we need it to calm you down, but what is it? What's the purpose?
I also kind of a mutual thing between us is that like over time, I have to learn how to like control my anger and calm myself down. And then over time, like you have to trust me enough when I'm getting to those places to like let me calm myself down. You know what I mean? Like
it's like the Scarlet Witch and the Hulk.
Yeah.
Like over time, like it's something that y'all are.
That's
gonna
what
have
I was
to,
thinking
like,
of when I pitched it, actually.
You know?
Well, if you guys are done, I think I'm pretty much set up. Like I really kind of know what our beginning adventure is going to be. I might be a little rusty because I haven't played Dungeon World in a while. But if you guys are ready to get started, I'm ready to get started.
Yeah, I think the only thing with Brunhilde, my bond with you is the spirits have spoke to me, and a great danger follows you. So that's kind of why, like being part of this group, I want to make sure that we guide you in a correct direction and don't let those spirits take you over. Don't let the evilness take you over. I can see it as you being like half man, like half orc.
So I like this. We've all seen each other at our worst, but have also like are also trying to like work on each other's best too. So like I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
All right.
You guys ready?
Jason, we take a quick break for the four of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to go pee.
That?
Oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah, go do it. I will keep everyone entertained.
All right, I'll be back.
This is a vaudeville show.
Yeah. All right, so here's what I'll do. I'll at least kind of show you guys, and you probably know this because you seem like you are veterans of using these commands and stuff, but the way this will work is if you want to use some of your coins, like one of them is +1, so you would type the code +1, then I'm going to give it to Chris. So you do exclamation point +1 and then space and then Chris, and that should come out like so. Yeah. And that is essentially just going to give next time he rolls, he'll get a +1 to his roll, which helps him achieve things easier and all that jazz. But again, I'm sure you guys know this better than me because I'm not super experienced with streaming. I'm pretty new to it. That's fine. Oh, MD, I didn't realize you stayed behind. I thought you ditched. You bailed too.
I'm here.
Oh, Derpy Turtles resumed it. All right. All right. So Vince has already got a +1 on his next roll.
Wow.
All right. Who is that? Derek for Vince. All right. Vince is gonna succeed. I feel like at some point I'm gonna have to limit it to like +2 max. In fact, I'm gonna do that now. So Vince will get a +2 on his next term. If people keep donating, we'll just add that on. Hell's it. That essentially means that he'll roll dice to see if he accomplished something. The higher the number, the better the result. If you add +1, it makes it easier for him to accomplish it. All right, Chris, someone just granted you a +1 to your next roll.
Oh, snap. Thank you, random person.
Jaharli 2.
Jason.
What?
Thank you, Harla 2.
Mom's trying to grant me +1, but she doesn't have any coins.
Did she sign up for our thing?
I don't know.
Here, Lenny.
She's right there. Lenny.
Where? I don't see her in chat.
Yeah, she is in chat. In
Oh,
green.
I see. Lenny, type exclamation point coins. Who? All right, Mad, you got +1.
Thanks, Mom.
It wasn't your
Wasn't my
mom.
mom.
It was Derpy
wasn't?
Turtles.
No.
All right. Lenny doesn't have enough coins. Here,
Lenny tried.
Sorry, Lenny Kravitz.
Lenny, I'm giving you so many coins right now. I'm dropping you a whole bunch of coins. Oh, how come you're not showing up? Hold on.
Oh man, now you just gave Lenny just enough to give Mad negative.
I did. There you go, Lenny. There's a ton of coins. All right, so I've got plus Vince. I don't want you to get your headphones on. Vince, you've been granted +2 to your next roll. You got +2 on your next roll because of some of your friends in here. Chris has got a +1 for his next roll. And Mad's got +1 to her next roll. Derek, I would give you 500 coins, but you're not Madelon's mom, so...
No, don't give Derek, because he's just going to go negative. Did Brass give me points?
That's all right. I'm just going to go with straight rolls for this whole adventure, guys.
Here we go, guys. If you're going to do any more donations, hold on to it, or actually do it, but make sure I catch them, because y'all sent a whole bunch at once, and I totally missed them. And what I'm going to do, I'll establish this later in the rules, because I don't want someone to get +5 on their roll, so I'm going to limit it to like +3. So once you've hit 3, any more you pass that will count for your next roll.
Okay.
All right, so we're here. Here we go. We're starting. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Ready.
All right.
Yay!
So you guys are in the city of Cello. You've been here for a couple of months. You've been making your way around the city and looking for this artifact. I'm going to say right off the bat, you pretty much knew where it was, but the tricky part was that it was at the top of the highest tower in all the land. All right, MD, you got an extra point from your mom. Thanks, Lenny.
Everyone should get all of their moms to watch.
I know. Why aren't they?
Mom hates me.
Oh, there you go. That's, I guess, the reason why. All right, so you guys have been here for a while. You know where the artifact is, but it lies at the heart of the tallest tower in all of Cello, which is the Tower of the Prince, or actually just royalty, but that's where the prince lives. So the past 2 months have been formulating a strategy, a plan to get in there. You came up with a pretty simple plan. Kind of break that down for me. What was the plan? I'm going to say right off the bat, it somehow involved Daniel being a thief, getting in there while the rest of you staged some sort of distraction. In kind of loose terms, tell me what that was. Kind of set that up for me a little bit.
Is Daniel a like street thief, or is he capable of doing like high level nobility blending in type stuff?
What do you think,
Probably
Vince?
not.
Good question.
Oh, Daniel. Sorry, I said Phillips. Get ahead of myself.
Is this black goat really good at sneaking into royal places?
Shit, yeah.
I would say Daniel's very, man, that's a good question. Holy shit. I would say I was part of a really upper level, like assassin guild, you know,
Okay.
like very good at sneaking, and knowing how to show have two faces. One of making people think, oh, I'm in the public, I'm here, blah, 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 but they have no idea what I really do behind the scenes.
So you're like a thief and a con man, kind of a blend of the two.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So our distraction doesn't necessarily have to involve sneaking in through like the sewers. Like you could stroll in the front door, basically.
Yeah.
You know, for some sort of festival or ball. Okay.
And I guess so I want to make sure I give Daniel some negatives, right? I want to make sure he has something that he just...
Yeah.
So, like, when I see bad thieves, he just freaks out. And not freaks out, but he just really, really has a hard time talking to them and taking them serious.
What do you mean by bad thieves? People that aren't very good at it, or people that do it for evil?
People who do it for evil, people who, like, petty thieves, you know,
Gotcha.
like, stuff like that.
Okay.
Because he takes it as such this is such a fine art, and it needs to be used in the proper hands type situation.
Yeah, I like it. You're here for magic artifacts of great power, not to slice 100 gold pieces out of a coin purse.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to tighten this up a little bit, just because as you guys talk, it's kind of putting a picture together for me. I'm kind of seeing Patramias, because he thinks so highly of himself. He's definitely the one who kind of wants to step up and, you know, pitch the plans and how they're going to go, which is, let's see. It's very funny because his intelligence is pretty low, so he's not very smart about it. So I like the idea.
That was on purpose.
I like the idea that Patramias throws these ideas out, and that the rest of you kind of take this shitty idea and funnel it down to where you get a pretty good idea. So Patramias, set me up. What was the big end of the funnel? What was your idea for getting Daniel in there to get this mirror?
All right, so there's an upcoming ball, wedding, party, whatever.
Perfect.
And my grand plan is to somehow cook up this idea that Daniel is the best magician this town has ever seen, and try to get him hired as the entertainment.
This is perfect.
Because that'll get him in. And I don't go as far enough to think through the concept of like, then he actually has to perform. So I'm just like, oh, he's just going to get in as like the entertainment for the night, like the grand show.
In fact, that's perfect. I'm going to stop the setup there. That's all I need. So it's the day of this big ball, this gala. This is an all-day festival that's held for the prince himself. It's his birthday. He's turning 12 years old. It's a big, exciting day. I would say the entire kingdom is celebrating. Even people who are poor and aren't allowed to go to this thing, they're all so proud of their prince. They're having this, private celebration at home. Well, because you guys managed to get Daniel dressed up and snuck him into this party, where the rest of you three are kind of hanging out outside. I would say outside the main temple is kind of a market area. You guys are blending in, just kind of hanging about, window shopping, if you will, just kind of making sure nothing happens to your buddy. There's guards, several guards stationed outside the door to this big castle where the party is being held, where the prince lives, and you're essentially just watching to make sure no guards turn and charge inside, because if they do, you're ready to help. Now, Daniel, you've been inside this gala since the morning. It's an all-day thing. It started with this massive breakfast. As a thief, it was more food than you've ever seen in one place. It was hard to fight your inclination to start shoving hard-boiled eggs in your pockets and things like that, because you were a thief. At one point in time, you've lived that beggar's life, so you've had to do that sort of thing. After brunch, because that's right, there was a breakfast and a brunch. This is like Hobbit eating style. Breakfast, brunch, 11sies, lunch, supper, dinner, all that's going to happen. About brunch time, you made your way into this large foyer. There's probably 1,000 people at this party, and they're every level of this castle. But you've noticed as you've scaled the castle, blending in and out of groups of people partying, the crowds are getting thinner and thinner the higher you go, which you were kind of relying on. What was Brass's question?
He said, I wonder if I can give bad guys +1.
No, because the bad guys don't get rolls. Bad guys just act. But a good question. So anyway, Daniel, after brunch and you make your way up to the second floor, which has kind of been deemed as the social drinking, cigar and pipe smoking floor, you approach the setup bar to get yourself a drink, and lo and behold, you see your old friend Nathaniel. Afraid she's going to blow your cover, you kind of give her this knowing glance like, STFU, please. And she knows a little bit about who you are, and she kind of stays low, but the whole time you're kind of distracted knowing that this potential first member of your entourage is hanging out in this party. So at the whole point in time, she's kind of in the back of your head. You manage to get through the party, going up level by level, schmoozing with the right people, rubbing elbows with everybody, until you have made it to the one of the higher floors. I'm going to say you're probably 40 stories up, and you have made your way into the prince's quarters. You have cracked the lock, you have made your way inside, and you are standing in front of a podium that on this podium, made of marble and kind of glistening, is this mirror, just kind of laying there. It's got a gold handle and a gold frame. It's extremely ornate looking. It's laying face down, and you see the jewels and everything on the back of it, but you kind of stand there, not grabbing it, kind of cautious because you've heard the rumors, you know there's something about this, you're not sure how to act. Meanwhile, the rest of you, let's just go down the list. Philip, before this started, you immediately turned into a goat. You're a black goat. You're hanging around. There's a small.
Hanging out with Bernard.
Yeah, exactly. You and Bernard are kind of near the stables. You're just chilling, munching on some grass. People are walking by to and fro. You hear people murmuring and talking about, oh, the prince's birthday, the prince's gala, and just talking about what they think it's like inside. A couple of small children have come by, most ignoring you. One stops to kind of rub your little head, and your little goat tail wags. Patramias.
A little tuft of hair.
Exactly. Because you're a patchy little goat. That's kind of draws a little bit of attention to you. Now, Patramias, you being the stalwart hero, this got always hand on the trigger or wand as you think. You have been very, again, because you're not real smart, very obviously standing at one vendor for about the past 2 hours, just looking through his wares. I'm going to say this is a book dealer. You're just flipping through one book, but you're not even looking at it. You're just staring at the castle door as you flip through the book. The owner of this this small little stand, tell me what he looks like.
Oh, he's a short, squat little guy.
He is staring daggers at you. He is wondering why the hell you have not purchased anything. And periodically he'll kind of, sir, there's a library in town if you wish to just read.
And I go, so at this point I'm in like, right. So I think I'm a wizard. So I'm like, the dealings of a wizard are above those of a shopkeeper. And I say that because this guy looks like he can't even read the books he's selling. He's just like straight here for the cash.
Excellent.
So I just try to like dismiss him with a wave of my hand as if all wizards have this power.
Now keep in mind, and I'm about to jump to you, Brunhilde, all the while, even the poorest parts of the city have like brick houses with like ornate doors. This is a fancy place, and high in the sky there are these hovering kind of islands which house more parts of the city and things like that. You've never been up there, you don't know exactly what's there, but something very interesting about it is that there are waterfalls not flowing down from them to the river, but flowing up the river to the islands. So there's this kind of almost like not spider web, but strung along waterfalls reaching from the river surrounding the city up into these islands. So this is all kind of casting odd shadows in the city. Big parts of the city are always wreathed in darkness. Well, not always, but as the sun passes overhead. Now, Brunhilde, you are essentially a half-orc robot. You're half orc, half metal, so you're not going to be able to just hang out in this city, because if you do, people might notice you a little bit. So I imagine you've got like a big hood over your head, kind of draped in robes, attempting to kind of look sort of like a beggar, kind of just off to the side. I imagine you're not far from the stables where Philip and Bernard are, and you're just kind of keeping off to the shadows, kind of watching everything go on. You've seen people come in and out, go to and fro into this party, into the castle, and something specifically you've noticed is that there seems to be a rear entrance, and you see the help coming and going, bringing in these, large, blocks of ice on spikes, bringing it in. You've seen other workers rolling in casks of ale and things like that. So more or less, there seems to be a service entrance around the back of this castle, which you're kind of in between that and the other area. So here's where the shit hits the fan.
Oh, shit.
Daniel, as you reach forward to, you've built up your confidence, you're about to reach down and you're about to grab this mirror, and you hear screams coming from downstairs. You hear loud, intense, shrill screams coming, and this is a stone building, so to hear someone yelling from below you, that's a pretty big feat, but you hear it loudly. Philip, Patramius, and Brunhilde, you also hear screaming, but coming from around the city. Various, people in different areas screaming. Suddenly, you notice there's people from the markets, just running away. People, in fact, Patramius, the book dealer directly in front of you, who's been staring at you, wanting you to leave, just immediately hears some noises, looks around the corner, kind of peering out from the opening of his little market area, and just takes off running, leaving his bookstore wide open with you there. And this all seems to be happening everywhere. More and more as the seconds pass, more people are screaming and running, and they're all running towards the castle and past it. Now, Daniel, as you turn and make your way towards the window, and as Philip, Patramius, and Brunhilde all turn to see what everyone is screaming at, in the distance, you see something moving towards the city. After a few moments, you hear this deep and your feet and the ground kind of start shaking below you. After a few moments, it hits you what's going on. You don't know why, you don't know how. There appears to be a leviathan approaching the city. From the distance you're looking, this thing is probably 200 or 300 feet tall. It appears to be walking from in between the mountains, and your best guess, it just looks like a walking mountain. As it gets closer, with every step, it covers at least a mile of distance. As it gets closer, you notice the center mass of this is essentially just a floating kind of hovering rock. Where an arm or a leg or a shoulder might be attached, there's just more rock hovering. Nothing seems to be connecting all the pieces. There is essentially this kind of magic-looking, hovering giant rock monster that's several hundred feet tall approaching the city. As this is going on and the reality of what is about to happen hits you, suddenly the doors to the castle where the princess party is happening is flung open, and people are charging out and screaming. You see people in fine dress getting knocked down stamps and trampled over. Like, this is pure and utter chaos. Do any of you know anything about Leviathans? This would be a great time to start rolling some dice.
I think first I need to prepare for battle and put on my bandolier here.
Oh my god. You really did prepare. I love it. All I brought was alcohol.
All I brought was alcohol. So equally prepared, just not visibly.
I think Patramius instinctively looks to Brunhilde because she's a golem and is just sort of like, eh?
Yeah.
Hey, Brunhilde. I want you to give me, let me pull up your sheet here. Our first roll of the game, and remember, you're getting +2 to that roll. In fact, we'll give it a second. Anyone want to make that +3? Anyone want to give her an extra +1? You got about 30 seconds to drop another +1 point, pay it forward for Brunhilde here. While I switch gears.
No?
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to find a way. Well, you have to wait. They haven't heard.
They're
it yet
delayed. They have a really heavy delay.
We're gonna have to.
Patient now. I'm like, let's go.
Yeah, right.
We're gonna have to find a way to do that. Maybe just have them to where they start cashing up.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely won't do it this way in the future, but again, this is our first time kind of going, so we'll see how it happens.
We can use the chat.
Oh, yeah.
Probably.
Brass Fox dropped some coin.
Thanks, Brass Fox.
How come I don't see it in chat?
Wait, where are you seeing that at? I don't see it.
It popped up on the live stream.
On the overlay, yeah.
But I do not see it in chat. That's interesting. Brass, did you? He might have done it from the Revlo webpage. I'm going to assume it's for Madelon.
Oh, I see it. Okay, cool. Awesome.
That's cool.
Holy shit, that's cool.
I still don't see it.
It's cool. All right, so Brunhilde, what you're going to do is you're going to give me a roll for Spout Lore. And that is going to be an intelligence check. So roll that, and then whatever you roll, we're going to add +3 to it.
Okay.
You remember how to do that? A 4.
Did I do it?
You did. You rolled a 4, which would normally be a failure, but we're adding +3, so that's going to give you a 7. So what Spout Lore says is when you...
Just a +3. Yeah.
Otherwise, that just means something bad happens. So on a 7 for this roll... Yeah, thank you so much. It means that... It has the DM tells you something interesting, but it's up to you to make this information useful. So Spout Lore is essentially you think about what you may know about this thing, you consult your knowledge, and you learn some information about it. So as you see this giant Leviathan approaching the city, you remember that these things have been, it has been told, you have heard, that despite being made completely of stone, they shoot these little flaming like bolts of energy from their eyes that mutate into smaller creatures. Where did you hear this information? How do you know this? That's another part of the rule. You have to tell me immediately where you learned this at.
When I first kind of was turned into this gremlin, however that happened, I got away from the person who did it to me, like almost immediately, and I retreated to a small mountain town where they kind of took me in and, allowed me to heal and figure out, what had happened and everything. And while I was in that small mountain town, I had always heard tales of creatures such as this, and seen like drawings and sketches and things like that. So I kind of had heard a lot about them, but it was always in almost like an urban legend. I had never seen one.
As soon as you remember all of this, all four of you and the entirety of this poor city of Cello hear this like deep guttural like rock dragging against rock, like and then from the distance you see it's the head area of this Leviathan light up this kind of whitish orange, and then these just pulses fly from its eyes. And granted, it's still several miles from the city. The pulses aim low, and you can't see where they land, but they seem to hit the edge of the city. You see smoke and bits of flame shoot up, pieces of rock that look like they might be from the city walls. And as it leans its head back and the eyes light up again and it shoots more pulses, this goes on for a few seconds, and they're just landing around the city with these big explosions. The most prominent one you see, the most worrisome one, launches directly from its eyes and pierces the heart of the temple that Daniel is in the very top of, trying to retrieve a mirror, and the rest of you are standing at the bottom. People are screaming, some are now on fire, and as some of these fireballs hit the ground, they stay burning for a brief moment until they transform into this. The fires kind of dwindle out into this charred shape of almost like this goblin-sized creature, and they hop up on their feet, and there's no discernible like features. You don't see eyes or a nose or a mouth. It's almost like a shadow. It's just pure black, smoking, burning, smelling little creatures. They immediately start running towards townspeople and jumping on them, and like they're just tearing at them and like tearing their clothes and clawing into their skin, and just chaos is ensuing. So, Patramias, as this is going on behind you, you turn and see a woman running, and she gets tackled by one of these things as two other ones pounce on her. What do? You have a split second to react before they tear this woman apart.
Yeah, so my immediate instinct is just to draw my 6-shooter out of its holster, draw aim, and yell magic missile as I pull the trigger.
I love that you're yelling magic missile as it happens. All right, I'm going to have you roll to volley, which is going to be a dex check.
All right.
Sadly, you don't have any plus to anything right now.
Nope, nobody's giving me any coins. All right, I rolled.
That's not bad.
Yeah, that is not bad at all, my friend.
All right.
Let me pull this back up. All right, so you rolled a 9. So on a 9, yep. Let's see. On a 10 plus, you have a clear shot and you deal your damage. On a 7 to 9, you get to choose one of these things, but you still do deal your damage. You either have to move to get the shot placing you in danger, as I describe. You take what you can get and you'll subtract 1d6 damage from the damage you deal, or you have to take several shots and reduce your ammo by 1.
I think I'll put myself in danger as I sort of step out and fire.
Awesome. So let's go ahead and get your damage roll, please.
All right. Hey, all right.
You got 6 there? All right, excellent. All right, so you pull out your 6 shooters and just straight cowboy style, just pop, 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 just firing off shots. And the one that's chomping down on her, you manage to like shoot her, and it, like its shoulders twist back like straight up old style Western, and it falls back and kind of tumbles over. The other two that are approaching her immediately shift gears, seeing that this woman is no threat, but you are definitely trying to attack this person, and they charge towards you. Now, really quick, Derek, you just gave another point to Vince. Beautiful. Thank you, Derek. Vince, say thank you to Derek. He gave you an extra point.
I did already, babe.
Okay.
I told him it has to go to the next one because I'm already at +3.
No, that puts you at +3.
Oh, it does? Okay.
Yeah, you're good. All right, so now, Philip, you are still sitting there in goat form and just kind of astounded by all that's happening. You suddenly hear the familiar shots of pa-ting, pa-ting of bullets firing off, and you know it's Patramias. And that you also hear him shout, "Magic missile!" And you think, what an idiot. You looking over, you see that two of these weird little charred goblin-esque creatures are running his way. They haven't made it to him yet, but you have a brief moment that you can possibly interfere. What do you do?
Well, first I push my cat out of the way. So
really, roll for that.
Being in goat form, Emma, how many holds do I have?
Let's start with 3. You've got 3 holds. What are some moves a goat would do?
I'm assuming ram. That makes sense.
Yep.
Kick him with his hind legs.
Yeah, kick.
I'm gonna call that rear kick.
I'm gonna say something along the lines of like Rocky balance, because goats are good at climbing things and standing on weird angly boulders. All
right, we'll start with those.
I'm gonna try to I'm going to charge and attempt to ram the front one into the other one and knock them both over.
All right, well, let's. You're gonna mark off a hold, so you've used one of your 3.
Yep.
So let's get a damage roll, because once you use a hold, you automatically do what you set out to do.
Boom!
Wow! Right off the bat. All right, so you managed to charge over there with your horns down and just right across the field and just catch this one and plow him. He topples sideways and rams into the other one. Neither of them appear to be hurt too badly, but you definitely knocked them off course. Patramias, just for some cool color, you look over and you see your buddy Philip the Druid, now known as Black Philip, the little goat guy here. Do you have anything fun to say for him? Raf? Can y'all hear me?
I hear you.
I hear you.
And Raf, I was saying you just watched Philip save you from getting attacked. Do you have anything you say to him or do for him?
Oh, I just sort of like tip my head at him and say thank you, and then start scanning the crowd for more danger.
Awesome. I love it.
You actually have a hat to tip is great.
Yeah. By the way, Raf, you have +1 for your next roll.
Yeah, Jay Harley hooked me up.
All right. Now, Brunhilde.
Yeah.
As you're standing there, I imagine at this point you've already flung your shroud off. You have your hammer out, and just right off the bat, blood is pouring off this thing. You haven't killed anything in a few days, and blood is just pouring off it still. And as you look around, another explosion hits above you, and chunks of rock start to fall down towards you. You're right beneath where they are. What do you do?
I twirl my hammer and I say, "This town is lit," and then I just go and just hammer one of them.
You're hammering the falling rocks to get them away from you?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So you're going to give me a defy danger with strength. So give me a strength roll. So you've rolled a 5, which in this game, once you rolled a 6 or less, bad things happen. So
hopefully you don't lose a finger.
That happened to Vince a whole lot. So here's what happens. Doing a roll here. All right, so you take 7 damage. If you would like, I'll go ahead and add that for you. You actually only take 5 because you have armor. But the rocks fall and like hit you and kind of knock you about and do a little bit of damage to you and knock you on your back. And directly on the side of these rocks drop down 2 of these dirty little charred monsters. They both lunge on you to bite you. What do you do?
I just kind of I'm like, what do I do? I got too excited on the first, go.
Oh, that was good. Bad rolls happen sometimes.
I want to try and they're biting on my arms.
They're just lunging at you to bite you.
I want to try and like grab them and just like slam them into the ground.
All right, so let's go ahead and give me another defy danger, and we're going to use dexterity. This is going to be how quickly you can grab them. So give me a dex roll.
9.
Ooh, much better.
There you go.
All right. So as soon as they both jump, you grab them both by the throat and just slam them down into the dirt. Now you don't kill them or anything, but you're pretty strong and just shove them down into like the grass, like these weird little like little screams getting muffled like as they get dug down in the dirt. And you're able to hop up. However, as you turn around, you see that your trusty hammer is partially buried under the rubble, and it's not going to be real easy to dig out. By the way, Chris Morales just gave you a +1 forward, so you got that coming on your next roll.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chris.
All right.
Boom.
Now, Daniel. Damn Daniel the Thief. Seeing all this happen, you're of two minds right now. Right behind you is you're in this tower that is shaking. It doesn't appear to be like falling over yet, but you took the whole building took a pretty sizable hit, and things are currently rough at the moment. Downstairs, you have your good buddy Nathaniel, who could very well be being attacked, be dying from the rubble falling on her, and then right behind you, you have this magical artifact that your entire crew has been working for 2 months to retrieve. What are you going to do?
I'm going to try to scan. I want to scan the room. So Daniel's going to look around, see if there's anything, looking at the mirror. Maybe there's like a trap dart or something that's going to be shooting at it. I'm going to do a quick scan, seeing if I can just see anything that looks out of place. See if there's maybe like a pressure plate or something, because I can't see the prince leaving here unguarded.
Okay, so this is going to be a move called Discern Realities, which is essentially you investigating. So go ahead and give me a Discern Reality roll, which is going to be a Wisdom check, which you unfortunately have a -1 in, but we're going to add +3 to whatever you roll.
It wouldn't be Trap Expert?
Oh yeah, I forgot you're a rogue. Let's look at that.
There you go.
All right, roll plus Dex, my friend.
All right, my friend.
And add 3 to that. Oh shit!
Nice.
Damn, son. Wow, that first roll is a doozy. You rolled 15 effectively.
It just says hold 3.
What?
Oh, I'm looking at the move.
Yeah, that's right. So hold 3. So as you walk around, you get to ask these questions. So ask me those 3 questions.
So I want to see if there's a trap here, and if so, what activates it?
As you're kind of looking around and checking this out, you don't see anything on the floor, no plates to step on. There's nothing crazy about the actual tower itself, or not the tower, but the pillar itself. But as you look down at the mirror, you see there appears to be some sort of little trigger beneath it. Now, as you get down and look closer, right off the bat, essentially turning the mirror over is what's going to activate it.
Okay. So what does the trap do when it is activated?
As you get down and look a little bit closer, you can tell there's some magical element to this trap. Or maybe not. Yeah, a magical element. That's fine. But there's also a mechanical element. So essentially looks like initially this was set up because someone didn't want anyone to take this. Well, then just through sheer coincidence, it was imbued with the magic of this arcane energy that split the world a couple hundred years ago. So it seems like if you flip it over, it's immediately going to reflect your worst fears back at you. And just for most people, if they can't handle what they see, it just puts them in a completely numb state where they're unable to act.
Okay. And then what else is hidden here?
As you look around the room trying to find something to essentially get this with, to pull this off the podium without activating it, you see on the desk some papers. You run over and kind of look through it to see if there's anything important, anything valuable, and the thing you see right off the bat is a pretty heavy book. And it's a children's book, but it's interesting because the children's book is all about how to kill leviathans. And it conveniently tells you that there appears to be some sort of weapon high up in the sky on one of these islands that has been used since the beginning of, not the beginning of time, the beginning of this world, that has been used by the people of the city to essentially get rid of the rock leviathans.
Okay.
You don't know what that weapon is, what that thing is, but you know to get rid of it, you have to make your way up to those islands in the sky. What do you do?
So I'm definitely taking the book.
All right.
I'm gonna put that in my bag.
All right.
And then I'm going to grab another item. I'm guessing there's another book on the desk.
Sure.
And I'm going to quickly, with one hand on the mirror. I'm guessing it's
Indiana Jones style, right?
Yeah, Indiana Jones it, but I'm immediately putting it in my bag. I don't want to look at it. I don't want to see it. Just gonna grab it and put it in there.
All right. That's pretty smart. So what I'm gonna have you do is give me a defy danger with dexterity. This is how quickly you can do the swap.
Okay.
Ooh.
All right. So you as you kind of sit there holding the book, ready to grab this little mirror by the handle. I gotta think here. How's this gonna work? Right before you're about to pull the trigger, you're about to grab the mirror, like your hands are just hovering. It's about to happen. You hear more screams come from downstairs, and the building shakes again as you hear a deeper explosion below you. And somehow, maybe because you're so attuned to this woman, you very clearly hear the screams of Nathaniel, which is a fun name to say. And in that moment, you realize you can either do this mirror or you can go protect her, but you don't think you're going to have time to do both. What do you do?
Oh, fucking A. Shit.
Shit gets real.
Well, as part of the guild that I'm in, you go on a mission, and this is what you do. You want to try to protect your friends and protect your teammates, but when you have an objective to do, you have to do it. That's our code. We get whatever we need to get done. So
I love it.
I'm going to grab the mirror and then see if I can book it to her, and maybe, I don't know.
Daniel.
Listen,
Just in time.
he's a very professional. Like I'm sort of looking at like a Hitman type thing. That I don't know if you guys have played that game where it's you care about people, but when you're on a mission, when you're on to something, like that's all that matters. Like you got to get that stuff done.
Oh, I got you. You're dedicated to your party. Essentially, I see that as you making the conscious decision. You're going to set aside your personal stuff to accomplish the mission you've set out to do with your party.
Yeah.
Frankly, I think that's fucking baller. All right, so you drop the book as you shove the mirror in your bag and you close the flap and turn and start running downstairs. Before you make it a couple of steps, another boom rocks the building and kind of sends you like keeping your balance, and the whole area you were about to run out of collapses. The whole room itself seems to be bombarded in. The only way out at this point is a window. As you peer out that window, the whole building is starting to sway a little bit, the area you were in, and as it kind of tilts forward, looking down, you see all these little black, scary, smoking creatures are swarming everywhere over the city. Now, not too far outside of your window, however, is a waterfall that seems to be going from the river surrounding the city up to the islands above you. All right, Patramius, my friend. At this point, podcast-wise, we're finishing up the second episode, so I'm going to give everyone a thanks for listening. Come back next time. I'll tell you what I'm about to tell Patramius. It's really
See you
tough.
next week.
Yeah, it's really tough to treat this as a live stream and a podcast. It's tough.